To address it, you would have to take a shot at it with like a whole series of measures. Now, a couple of
Pun
them are
intended.
technological that your fans would probably like. Should you have body cams on everyone that are just paid for um, nationally, so it's not on it's not a cost burden for communities? Yes. Should you invest in non-lethal weaponry? And I'm a geek, so this was exciting, but it's actually the case that you should have. So right now you have a taser, has limitations,
And
and then
taser, I'll say allegedly. I mean, we've all seen videos. It's not non-lethal.
yeah, like a taser can be very dangerous in some circumstances. But there are a lot of situations where like the taser is not the right use case. Like for example, when someone's like running away from you, and they're beyond a certain range, then the taser is not going to reach them. So then the next thing you have is a firearm. And so we saw this case in Atlanta where the man was running away and then the cops shot him in the back. And so like, could you use some new non-lethal weapon? And this is going to sound very like Running Man-ish, but like there is like a company that makes like these bolas that you could like shoot at someone running away from you, and it like wraps them up and like screws them up enough so that they're going to trip and fall, and then you can like catch up to them.
Yeah, that's the Bowler Wrap by Wrap Technologies.
Yeah. So stuff like that, it's like, is that worth at least investing in? And trying to figure out whether there's some intermediate level of force that a police officer could use that's not a lethal weapon? Yes. Should you be investing in crisis workers and mental health workers who can respond to calls that maybe don't warrant like someone carrying a gun? Because one scourge in many of these communities is drug addiction. So you have these drug addicts who are struggling, like families call, and then a lot of the times the cop that shows up, there are circumstances where I think the number is like a third of people who are killed by police have severe mental illness. And you can imagine a police officer showing up to someone who's mentally ill and is not listening to commands. And so the police officer is like, stop, or I'll shoot. And then eventually they shoot them. And so you could send someone who's like a trained mental health worker or crisis counselor instead of like an armed police officer, or maybe they both go, or some combination. But you would need to invest in resources to that effect. In my mind, there should be some Department of Justice dedicated task force around police misconduct, so then you can take the pressure off of local DAs to confront police officers. Because then if you have like an independent entity that's actually investigating, and it's been proven to work when you have consent decrees out of the Department of Justice when they investigate police departments, that it does reduce police violence. The problem is that those DOJ actions are very, very rare and far between, and they require not just like one cop screws up, but they need evidence of essentially a system-wide practice that raises the misconduct to a point where it's unconstitutional, like in the community. So it's not just like, hey, a cop did something reprehensible. It's like department-wide, there's a problem, and these consent decrees and the DOJ actions take years to execute. So there should be, in my mind, like a more immediate remedy that gets used more often, because the problem of police brutality is very real by the numbers.